Hello everyone! Welcome back to my Burgmuller series. It's been a while since I made the last episode. When I first started, I had an ambitious goal of covering all the 25 pieces. But guess what happened? There weren't as many views as other videos. So I kinda got sidetracked, but there has been one piece that had always gotten requests for, which is number 15, Ballade. Each piece in Burgmuller's Opus 100 has their own lessons, and it's very important to cover all of them. But at my current pace, when am I gonna get to 15? So today, I decided to make a video on this most requested piece, and hopefully that's gonna generate more viewers, and I'll cover the rest of the pieces. Now, it's not gonna be in the right order, but that's how it's done in one of the most famous movies about the space war. Before we start, I want to say a huge thank you to my patrons on patreon.com and YouTube members. As always, your support has been huge help. This channel wouldn't have been lasting this long had it not been for you. And if you're kind enough to support me for $3 or $10 per month, I'll leave the link to my Patreon page in the description. You can also support me directly from YouTube from right here. But before you see this button, you have to be subscribing, and hopefully you turn on the notifications so you won't miss my future videos. Now let's begin. So first of all, in order to understand this piece, you have to understand what ballade is. Ballade is a musical version of ballad, which is a poem that tells stories. Knowing this alone will give you a really good idea of what this music is about. And that explains why this music has so many different scenes with different colors and moods. And your job as a pianist is to tell that story through your performance. Now, what kind of story does this music tell? That's totally up to your imagination. Now, I have a vague idea of what this story is, but that's going to be different for everyone, and I don't want to taint your ideas, so I'm not going to tell my version. It is your job to come up with your own story. Plus, we only get paid for playing the music and not telling the story. Alright, so let's play through it and listen to it first. Now, this piece comes with a lot of technical things. In this video, I talked about how to control two things about your playing so that you can change the loudness of your sound and clarity of the sound. And we use combination of that to bring out certain melody out of all the sound that you're playing. The music I used to teach that technique is actually in the beginner book, level 2A. So in my studio, by the time you get to this piece, you've been doing voicing all the time with whole different kinds of music. So if you're not familiar with voicing technique, please watch this video and practice that first. But now you have to do that voicing on a chord with staccatos. And when it comes to staccato, a lot of people think, oh, you have to press the key and leave right away. You have to bounce like this. But all it does, it throws all that weight of your arms and hands and smashes into the key. Instead, these notes, you don't want to bring it out. So you're gonna lift your hand a little bit, or at least do not lean onto the keys. And you're gonna pluck the keys gently like this. This is with your arm weight on and up and down technique. This is plucking keys with no arm weight. Imagine how each time my hand plays the key and then keep curving so that it'll leave the key right away. And then reset, play, reset, play. If you do 3 fingers at the same time, it'll look like this. While doing that, left hand's gonna play with normal arm weight. Now for all hand-on haters, this is really where the hand-on comes in. Because by the time you get to number 15 of Burgmuller, you will have had played many hand-on exercises already. And your fingers are most likely to be ready to play this. Yet, what's so difficult about this is coordination with your right hand. So even if your hand can go fast, if it's not matching your right hand, it's not gonna do any good. It's not gonna sound clean. It only sounds clean when you can control the speed and coordinate with your right hand like this. So you have to understand when your right hand and left hand comes together, and to do that, let's practice like this. You're gonna practice right hand, left hand slowly in staccato and feel every time your right hand and left hand comes together, and double, triple check that you actually know which note comes with your right hand and left hand together at the same time. So C, another C, A, C, C, A. So you play both hands when you play C's and A. And even though I may look like I'm just playing randomly super fast and magically matching, no. In a very quick way, I'm making sure I play together, together, together. And then when I do fast, I'm not just doing da 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 and da la da 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 la la la. No, I'm not just randomly playing those and hoping for the best. I'm actively matching right hand and left hand on certain checkpoints like this. Now when you play at the faster tempo, and if you really slow it down and check, my hands may not be matching perfectly. And that's because I'm a human, and I also haven't really practiced this before I recorded. I don't have time to practice these things anymore these days. But the point is, there's a huge difference between a performer trying to match these notes and having a clear idea of where to match, and performers who can move fingers fast but not really thinking about matching the hands. It clearly shows in their performance. Another thing to keep in mind is that we did this in Opus 100 number 1 tutorial. But whenever you're playing, even if you're playing in this 5-finger position right here, as you play, your fingers are pulling your hand to certain direction. If I play C, my thumb pulls my hand to the right and a little higher. And then when I play second finger, it pulls a little more forward and then a little to the left compared to where the thumb was pulling my hand to. And then this finger's gonna pull my hand now. And then this finger. Each time your finger's playing, they are pulling your hand to a certain direction. And you can either resist that and be like this, or relax your hand, let the fingers pull your hand. And by releasing your hand's tension, and not resisting the finger motion, it'll allow your fingers to play a lot more freely with less energy, and as a result, your sound becomes so much smoother. And if you conquer that first part, we're gonna move on to again, it's very tempting, but when you play staccatos with both hands, you do not need this big up and down motion. My hands might be shaking up and down a little bit. That's because every time my fingers pluck the keys, there's a counter force. They're basically the legs kicking the ground so that the body goes up a little bit. But I'm not lifting my hand, and that's why I don't miss the keys. If I lift the hand like this, I'm gonna miss the key. I have no control. But I don't miss the key because I'm not leaving the keys. I'm just sliding, touching the next one, plucking them. And because you're plucking the keys, and then you can control the finger pressure that way, you can do this crescendo. I'm plucking harder and harder as I go. And then forte. Now a lot of students miss the keys here because they move so much. Now here it looks like your hands are jumping, but if you look carefully, right hand is just you can play the whole thing without moving your hand at all. But to follow the natural hand motion, I do move my hand a little bit. But in general, I try to stay in this one spot. Now left hand, on the other hand, you're gonna have to go from here to here. That's kind of far, so you do have to move a little bit. So limit the motion to the left hand, and right hand just stably stays here. And you won't miss the key. Another trick is when you move 1, 2, rest, touch, and play. And move, touch, and play. Move, touch, and play. If your fingers are not touching the key that you're about to play, then you can miss that key. So whenever you move your hand and play in the new location, you have to land and touch and settle. And it only gives you one tiny beat to do that, but it is enough time to do that if you slide your hand and don't waste your time. One beat should be enough to touch and feel and play. And make sure you take your time here. This is your break, because next part, you have to be totally in a different character. Now, first of all, compared to the beginning part, your voicing switches. Your right hand is a melody, left hand is the accompaniment. So, left hand, no arm weight, just pluck, pluck, very gentle pluck. And right hand can play normally, but piano, so you do have an arm weight on, but you don't squeeze hard. Now it's going up, so I usually put the crescendo here because remember, when the melody goes up, your dynamics goes up. And same thing. Now this A right here is the peak of this melody. So I sometimes even exaggerate and slow down a little bit to emphasize it, like this. Now usually when the melody goes up to the peak, you want to get louder and louder and crescendo, but sometimes, like in this case, it's not really appropriate to play in forte or anything that's as loud as that. But you still want to bring it out, and another way you can bring out certain part or certain note is to slow down. When you slow down, you tend to sort of like build up a tension in a little different way. And you can use tempo to kind of affect the perception of the dynamics. Now, this is a little more advanced technique, so if that doesn't make sense to you right now, you don't have to worry about it. But it's kind of interesting to know that your tempo affects the perception of the loudness. Then use this long phrase to come down gently. gonna have a crescendo. And if you're repeating, you have this spiedo piano. Sort of like you're opening up this crescendo, making people think like something big's gonna happen. And just kidding. And repeat that nice, calm melody. And after that, and crescendo down here and back. Now this part is a total repetition, so I'm not going to go through the same lesson again. Use the tips you learned from the beginning. And then when you get to this point, instead of going to that nice calm section, this time it's going to go toward the conclusion. Now same theme, but now it's in both hands, and those hands has to be completely synced. And how do you do that? Basically same way as hand-on. You can do rhythmic exercises like this. Or but what's most effective is staccato. Staccato really tells your fingers which fingers has to go together and when. And when you play fast, you've got to really relax your wrists and elbows and arms and shoulders and everything so that your fingers can pull your hands to wherever they want the hands to be. So your fingers not resisting. So your arms are not resisting, your hands are not resisting your fingers, so your fingers don't have to fight. So as you do this tricky passage, your fingers don't have to fight everything else. See how much my hands move. And remember, I'm not intentionally rotating my hands. My fingers are pulling them and I'm just not resisting them. And as you go, you want to get softer and softer, pretend like you are disappearing. Now, playing soft does not mean you slow down. Playing softer or louder does not change the motion of your fingers at all, but in order to play soft, you just squeeze less when you get to the bottom. So you get to the bottom in the same way and then don't squeeze, and then you get softer and you reduce the pressure little by little and you get this nice diminuendo. And then same piano and even softer. Well, you do have a diminuendo here. Again, you're pretending like you're gonna disappear. Just to catch everybody off guard with this surprise ending. Now, I made a video just about holding the notes, but do not ruin this music at the end by not holding enough. It's exactly 5 beats, so you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let go. I kind of like to hold it a little longer at the end usually. And at last but not least, you have a fermata on this rest. Now, why would you put a fermata on a rest at the end when you finished playing? And the answer I have is that you are actually not done playing. Or maybe you're done playing the last note, but your performance is not over yet. So whenever I see fermatas on the rest at the end of the music like this, I take that as a message from the composer to enjoy that silence. Have that time for the audience to kind of digest what all happened right now. You just played wonderful music. You don't want to just like up and leave right away. So if I'm on the stage, I'll be doing something like this. And I'm done. All right, so these are the main points that I think you should learn from this piece. Ballade is storytelling music, so you want to create different scenes and moods to tell the different parts of the stories. And as a performer, you want to have an idea of what this story is about, what kind of story you're trying to tell. And your audience have their freedom to come up with whatever the stories that they think this music is about. And I would really love you guys to share what kind of stories you guys think this music is about in the comment section. Now at this point, voicing should be consideration for any music you play, but in this music, your right hand is an accompaniment and there's staccatos. And staccatos usually make people to smash the keys or put unnecessary arm weight on them. But rather, I want you to know staccato is when you pluck the strings and you can totally control the finger pressure and also the arm weight at the same time as you pluck those keys. And a good way to practice that is to lift up your hand a little bit and then make sure your hand is not leaning onto the keys as you do this. When it comes to these 16th notes, now you do have to play these fast, but not just randomly fast. In fact, by doing hand-on exercises properly, you already have a good technique to play this. However, what you have to learn here is how to coordinate with your right hand so that your left hand is not running away from right hand, so that they're completely in sync and comes out clearly. In the second section, enjoy and sing out this beautiful melody by adding your own dynamics. And if you slow down a little bit at the peak, you can bring out that note even more without physically getting louder. There are many other details in this music that I didn't even touch in this video, but that's because it's number 15 of Burgmuller. You should know what to do with what's written already. And I wanted to focus on the things that you can't tell just by looking at the music and notation. Nevertheless, anything that's written in this music is not just a waste of ink. They all mean something. So please look at the music very carefully and see what each marking is telling you to do. Alright, that's it for now. If you learned something from this video, please hit the like button so YouTube will know this is a good video and start spreading to other people. If you know anybody who may benefit from this video, I would really appreciate sharing it with your friends, students, whoever may find this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. I always look forward to reading everybody's comments and questions, and I'll try to answer as much as possible. If you want one-on-one sessions with me for lessons or consultation for more personalized, detailed tips, I'll leave the link to my online studio where you can make an appointment. Now go ahead and practice and enjoy this musical story. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.